Hello, buddy. San here, engineer, MBA, and investor. And in today's video, I want to talk about the news of the Chinese individual scientist who was just released from prison. And that is, of course, the scientist that was responsible for the first ever in-human CRISPR on the genome level and a germline level, rather. And it broke the news a few years ago, and it was done illegally. And of course, his name is He Jiangqiu. And this is a photo from him in Hong Kong in 2018 when he claimed to have made the first world edited gene edited babies, right? So, just as a reminder to the folks out there, the companies that we look at, CRISPR companies, public companies, even private companies, they're doing human therapeutics, but they're not editing the germline, right? So, for example, if you potentially cure sickle cell disease from one patient, it does not mean that patient offspring will not have sickle cell disease. That offspring will still carry those genes, right? And that is what we mean by not editing the germline. And unfortunately, here we have a case where this Chinese scientist actually did edit the germline, and this was in a few years ago, like you saw here in 2018. And it just looks like, based on this article from Stat News, that these guys have decided to release this scientist from the prison, and he served 3 years. He did not respond to any stat questions, but it looks like in November 9th, he posted photos of Twitter himself sitting in a computer office. Today, I moved to a new office in Beijing. This is my first day for Jianghu He Lab, right? So he's getting right back in the lab, just like a real scientist. And I mean, I don't know if it's funny, but I do want to mention this is photos from him in November, right? So basically, almost a month ago, 3 weeks ago, rather. I don't know about you guys, but this guy aged like 30 years. Look at this photo here, right? And now, of course, the lighting, there's, the angle and everything. Look at this photo here. And then look at this photo here. I think this guy aged like at least 10 to 15 years easily based on the last photo, right? And he only served 3 years. Yeah, I don't know what that says about, prisons, or rather Chinese prisons, rather. But he definitely aged a lot more than just 3 years, okay? So maybe he needs a little bit of CRISPR in his shiny bald head here, but that's not. That's I'm going off topic here, but I do wanted to make this video because, one, it's covering this news, and I think it was a big news in the CRISPR landscape a few years ago. It was actually a big news for up until, I would say, 2 3 years ago, when the news died down. I think actually the documentary on Netflix covered this. It was on Netflix or the HBO one. I don't remember which one, but they covered his story extensively, and it was a big deal, right? So I felt like, what, this is the type of closure I'd like to cover, because this is basically him coming out of prison. And, it's a message to the public, don't do illegal things. And especially if you're talking about biotech and genome editing, if you do that, it's going to be, you're just going to, slow down the whole process. There's a reason why the FDA is a lot more strict on genome editing and so on, right? I'm not saying it's just because of this, but of course, these types of stories will amplify organizations like the FDA, Canada, or EMA in Europe to really be strict with those type of tools like genome editing, in this case CRISPR, because they're aware that individuals may take things out of their own hand, and without regulations and protections, the public may be, at risk there. And again, I'm not a rocket scientist, in a sense, and but it doesn't really take a rocket scientist to understand that, if you're gonna inject something in your liver, to potentially edit out a gene, to reduce a certain set of proteins, for example, I don't necessarily think that anybody can do it at any time without any sort of, regulation or overseen by independent organization, right? So I think what the FDA is doing here, for example, in the CRISPR landscape, just like we covered yesterday, lifting off the hold on Beam 201. I think those are type of actions that are expected from organizations although I have my own opinion about the timing, the efficiency, and maybe the bureaucracy behind those organizations. But I'm just repeating myself from last video from yesterday. So just wanted to make this really quick video, guys. This video is not going to be over 6 minutes, but thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully you guys are having a beautiful Sunday. I'm just gonna step out here, get some sun, get a coffee, hit the gym, probably get a massage later. I booked myself for 4 p.m. That's gonna be fun. Always something to do in Toronto, right? So wherever you are, guys, I hope you a great day, a great end of the weekend. Thank you so much again for watching. Subscribe if you're not, like this video if you have value, and let me know in the comments below what do you guys think about this news. I'll see you guys in the next video during the week. Thank you.